Today, my guest is former WWE developmental wrestler, Mr. Knuckles Madsen. Kevin, how are you,
Yes,
sir?
sir. Man, I'm doing good this morning. How you doing, brother?
I can't complain. Got to go do some yard work after this, so I'm sure that'll be a little bit of a pain in the ass, but.
Oh, good. No, it's good to have you on to work on. Hey, so we're recording, right? We're on?
Yes, sir.
Hey, let me go ahead and make a little start here because, to anybody watching, listening to this podcast, I want to say, and I apologize to Brian the way I'm doing this. I did not want to do a podcast while I'm driving. I just feel like that kind of comes off unprofessional. But due to the circumstances and living a life and getting things done, Brian has been very persistent, not in an annoying way, but to people these days, it's easy to, when something doesn't just come easy the first time, a lot of times people give up, man. If you give up, you're not going to get what you're trying to get. Brian stayed with me for quite a while, and I highly respect that in you, Brian, and anyone else. You got to persist to get your rewards. Not everything comes easy, but yeah, thanks for having me on here, man.
I appreciate you taking the time out. I know life can get very busy and stuff happens with short notice, and I just appreciate you taking the time to come on today.
Hell yeah. It's good to be here. It's good to be here. Where you at? What state you live in?
I'm in Indiana.
Indiana. Awesome, man.
So,
Uh,
when did professional wrestling come into your life? When did you become a fan of it? And when did you decide that this was something you were going to pursue?
well, the wrestling came into my life like when I was born. Just as a fan, my dad was a big fan of wrestling. So ever since I was a little baby, it was always on the TV and watching wrestling and just lying on the couch with my brother and my dad. Uh, I've always said, I remember being 3 years old, and I remember saying to my dad, I want to be a pro wrestler when I grow up. Before that, at the same time, we took a trip to a family friend that has a farm, and I really enjoyed the Billy Goats. And they would say, "You can do anything with your life." I said, "I can be anything I put my mind to." I said, "Well, I want to be a Billy Goat." All right, and then they're like, "Well, you can't really be a Billy Goat." I was like, "Oh, damn it! All right, I guess I'm gonna be a wrestler when I grow up then." Just having fun with it on the couch and everything, and in the house and stuff. I really loved it. And then it, kind of grew from there. It's one of those things that, like, when you're really young, I know my parents, it was like, oh, it's cool, man. When you're really young, I'll watch it with the dad and it's kind of bonding time. And then as I grew up as a kid, I still want to be a wrestler, That's cool. You're in elementary school. And then you get to middle school, and somewhere between middle school and high school, you can tell maybe from my parents, their mentality after a while is like, oh, hopefully it's just a phase. Hopefully he'll get out of this phase and want to become something through high school. I actually want to be a wrestler. I think that, and I kept saying that, but for me to reach my highest potential in life, I just got to be a pro wrestler. And then, to get through high school, well, you got to find that backup plan. I started training in West Memphis. So, as I was saying, I go through high school, really want to be a pro wrestler still. And parents talking about a backup plan. So to make them happy, okay, I'll go to college. Well, I was living in Northwest Arkansas at the time. And actually, the first week I went to college, the college professor gave a little lecture. And, what you have in your heart is what you should go after. If it's not college, you should probably quit. Pretty much kind of making me realize, after the first week, I quit college up there, and I was like, all right, So as a child, I grew up in Memphis, Tennessee. Into high school, we moved to Arkansas, and then so Memphis is a hotbed for wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of high school, that's when I realized, okay, I'm gonna have to move back to Memphis, find somebody to train me. That's what I did. Moved back to Memphis. I started working at FedEx Ground, loading trucks, and my trainer started, Eric Wayne, met him in the break room, and he was really wanting his dad to train him, Nightmare Ken Wayne, and so he talked to me about it. I said, all right, let's go, and then I got with them, started training. I was very well trained through Ken Wayne. I was also trained with Buddy Wayne, Ken Wayne's dad.
Mm-hmm.
Buddy Wayne, I believe he's the first promoter that booked Jerry the King Lawler. Got a long history of wrestling and promoting, running shows. Really old school guy, old school mentality, the kind of mentality that you don't get to be around anymore at all. So my training started in West Memphis, Arkansas, with the Wayne family. And I've always said my training. So Ken Wayne, his tag team partner was Danny Davis, the Nightmare, which Danny Davis started OVW, the first developmental for WWE, and with Jim Cornette. And so Ken Wayne pretty much used Danny Davis's system, the developmental system, to train us. Except the big difference was OVW, they had a large group of guys, good training, large group of guys. I always got thought of it. I got the small batch, I got that selective group. The first 9 months, it was just me and Eric. So I looked at it as I got developmental structure training, but I got like the private course, very detailed, very thorough, and that's how much the first good bit of my training was. A lot of one-on-one time with me, the trainer, and the son of the trainer.
So what was your first initial thoughts of professional wrestling once you got into it? Was it what you thought it would be?
In a way, so in a way not. And I'll explain this. So the training was pretty much what I thought it'd be. It was hard. I thought it would be hard, and it should be hard. It should be difficult. You're doing something very different than what naturally your natural things. You're taking the bumps and everything that goes along with it. And that was difficult. Now, once I first started wrestling, that's when I really came across the big clash with reality, to where I started getting into wrestling, watched a lot of old school wrestling, the interview, and I was around in my first part of training, around a lot of old school guys, a lot of rough guys. I was used to being around a rough crowd. My honest view, not a bunch of pride. Just you got to let, and just like it goes, you got to learn how to work, and you got to learn how to work with everybody. Now, not everybody's like that, but I was just surprised at the abundance of weak fellas,
Mm-hmm.
and the business is still like that. A lot of people are really soft. A lot of people they're too soft to take a critique. They're too soft to hear the truth. That's why if you find a gym or a facility that trains in wrestling and professional wrestling, and they do it the way it's meant to be done, you'll find that there's not a big group of guys there most of the time. Because it ain't for everybody. Not only is it not for everybody, it's not for most people.
Mm-hmm.
Now, like I train. I have a gym, and I train professional wrestling. And I would tell you, like, I can train anybody. If you stick around long enough, you'll be trained. There's no way around that.
Mm-hmm.
But the other variable in that is, though, the student has to stick around long enough. And there's several avenues that break people of their training, and they end up losing their dream. You know, it's a lot like the military. Now, I'm not trying to break everybody down to nothing and build them back up, but there's a right and wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You may hear this in this professional wrestling business is, oh, there's many ways to do it. There's many ways to do this, and that's true. But on the other hand, there's even more ways to not do it.
Yeah.
Not always what you do and how you do it, but what you don't do and how you don't do it. A lot of people don't like being told that they're doing something wrong. And then the biggest part of training, Brian, is the repetitions. Just because you get it can take a lot of reps to get one thing right. Just because you get it done right once, don't mean them reps are done.
Mm-hmm.
Something Tom Pritchard, I think, has said, and this is what it is. We don't train so we can get it right. We train to where we can never get it wrong. And that's it, man. And that can be a difficult thing, especially if you don't love it. Now, you can love wrestling, but do you love the process?
Mm-hmm.
If you don't love the process, man, it's torture. But if you can fall in love with that process, oh, man, you'll love going to work out every day. But it takes a thick skin and a dense skull to be okay with that. You know what I mean?
I agree. So after your training, did you stay in the Memphis area, and when did you start to branch out and get your name out there?
Yeah, so like you said at the beginning, I got signed with WWE and went through NXT. So that took 7 years for me to land that gig. So that whole 7 years, like I stayed with my gym.
Mm-hmm.
I stayed, I went out and worked everywhere I could, and but like I stayed grounded in my gym. My mentality, and I think a few people have this, but most of them don't. But my mentality, from a kid, I knew, I realized the work schedule the territory guys were making. The schedule. So growing up in Memphis, I was around as a kid when they were still doing wrestling shows at the Mid-South Coliseum with USWA.
Okay.
So I saw, and they were bringing WWF guys. And they were doing shows like every day of the week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. They were doing weekday shows, weekend shows. So I realized, all right, these guys are working every day. They're wrestling every day. Now, if you're wrestling every day, then your training is live in the ring. It's not so much that way anymore. Most of the shows, maybe you get a good show on a Friday. Mostly all of them are on a Saturday. You might get one on a Sunday. And then, I don't know, you don't see it too often. When I was in Memphis, Jerry Lawler would run a show through a certain period of time on Thursday. I could fill up maybe 4 days, maybe sometimes. But you look at the weekend as the majority of your shows, right? So, like I went through my training program, and like the curriculum, 2 years is what it took me. But the final, your graduation, you did a 60-minute Broadway. So that's you and one other guy. Y'all wrestle for 60 minutes. You have a real match, and it's got to be good. You can fail that 60 minutes, even if you go the time limit. It's got to be good. Then you're graduated. which I did. That took 2 years. And then after that, though, that wasn't my goal. My goal wasn't to graduate. I mean, that was part of my goal, but my goal was to get signed. So I completed the course, but I'm not signed yet. I'm still training. Because my mentality is the guys that were good, that I watched and I loved growing up, they were wrestling every day. I have to fill those gaps. So, every time I could all week, we'd work out Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Those were the set days. And then I'd make them come in on Tuesdays and Thursdays sometimes. Then I would do my shows. We eventually started running show Friday in West Memphis. Then we'd always find a show on Saturday. And then sometimes you get one on Sunday. And I did that for quite a few years as I was learning my craft and becoming better and better. Then I reached the point where, okay, I knew I was figuring it out. I'm not going to say I was good or great, but I knew I was figuring out some stuff, working out in the gym, getting my body right, working on my promos, getting my promos decent. Then, all right, so here's another theory I have in my head. And a lot of wrestlers these days, they don't understand this. So for your first stretch of years, when you're really getting that experience, it's important to find every show you can get on and get on it. Work in front of a crowd or a group of people. It doesn't matter if it's a crowd. Just have live matches. As many as you can. Doesn't matter where it's at. Just get it. Be safe. Don't get hurt. Now, when you get to a certain point in your process where, all right, you can work. You can work as a good guy. You can work as a bad guy. You can cut promos like this and that. You got a little diversity to you, and you're getting some quality under your belt. Now, there come a time where I learned it's time to be selective. So, let's be honest. Not every show, not every indie show is a good wrestling event. Not every indie show can you go and actually learn something from somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I got to a certain point where I realized this later on in WWE, talking with some of the producers there, they mimicked these same words where I got selective. I have my high quality shows, and I'm going to dedicate myself to the high quality shows. I'm going to cut myself off of the junkie shit, and I'm going to go to the high quality shows. Now, instead of going to the, bottom of the barrel shows, I'm not going to do that anymore. Instead, I'm going to use that time to work out in the gym and get some of my guys I train with, and we're going to the ring, and we're going to work for 3 hours that Saturday, Sunday, whatever it is. I'm going to get, I'm going to get more out of my time and effort, taking me and whoever else, go to the gym with my trainer and train in the ring for 3 hours, work on what we need to work on. Then what I'm going to get out of going to the flea market and bumping around with some jackass in front of Uncle Joe. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so not only that, and this is true, but not only that, also in the eyes of a talent scout, in the eyes of the office, like you want to get to the upper levels, there's that saying, perception is reality, right? Mm-hmm. So in the eyes of the office, you or the other saying, you are with who you associate with, right? So you could be high quality, you could look good, you could have this and that, but at the office scouting you, and they just see you on every dickhead poster with a bunch of guys in kick pads, t-shirts. You might have your shirt off and have abs, but if you're constantly surrounded with guys in kick pads and t-shirts, then that's what you become.
Mm-hmm.
They lose interest. Don't want to. If you raise an eyebrow in a good way, you don't want to do things that make them lose interest in you. We were interested in this guy, but he's at the garage sale wrestling. He's at the car lot doing matches. Like, he's with this skinny kid and the fat kid. Like, yeah, he don't really got it. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there comes a time where it's time to be selective. So, I don't know. It might have been about like 5 years after doing matches, or 4 years or something. Like, I got selective. You got to be okay with telling people, no, I can't. You know, I'm working or whatever. Hey, go do your work. Work on yourself. Dedicate yourself to the high quality, and you will be seen as a high quality. And so if you're with a high quality group, you're going to find high quality opportunities. High quality opportunities results in good results. We want good results, baby. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. How did your WWE tryout come to be?
All right. Let's get in that. So, people, when I first started this podcast, I made that statement about persistence. Brian executed persistence, and he finally got me on the podcast. Here I am, and I respect you for it, Brian. So, me actually getting signed took persistence. I went to college, but I went to trade school. There wasn't no football team or wrestling team. I learned how to work a trade. Nobody in athletics gave a shit about that. By the time I got signed, I was 28. Yeah, not the youngest, not the oldest. Okay. Now, from when I started to when I got signed, there's a 7-year period. Now, through that 7-year period, I did, I think for 3 different occasions, I did the extra talent gig for WWE, where you go to Raw and SmackDown. And back then, I think it's a little different now, but back then, you got there early, 11, 12, boom, you found the broom closet, they had you guys in, put on your boots, put on your shorts, get to the ring, because you're probably going to get in the ring and work out. They'd look at you, whatever. They'd also bring you in the back. There was a couple times we got to do promos. So through that time, I did the extra talent gig 3 different times. And I think before the tryout actually got signed, I did 2 or 3 tryouts, the official tryouts. One of them of which, the time before I got signed, it was Saturday, Sunday in OVW arena with there's a lot of people, 70 people or something. And I did well. I didn't get signed there, but I did well. They give each time, they're going to give you a critique. Hey, this, like this, didn't like this. If I were you, change this. Don't do this, do this. Yeah, okay. You take their critique. You stay persistent. You try to come back, find out something, do it again. When you show up the next time in front of somebody, so you need to make sure you listen to what they told you and you act accordingly. Hey, you look good. You got a hairy chest. Shave your chest. Okay. Next time they see you, you better have your chest shaved, or you're just wasting their time, right? So, I had through that 7 year, I had 3 tryouts. Well, through that period where I finally I'm going to be selective. I'm really going to hone in on myself, right?
Mm-hmm.
So getting to where I got that final tryout, I'm in the Memphis area. There was a wrestler named Dustin Starr. He's the boss man for Memphis Wrestling right now. He was signed to developmental, and he was down in Tampa with FCW, and he came back around after he got released, and he got back in wrestling, and we were becoming friends again and talking and this and that, and he was kind of watching my stuff. I would see him sometimes outside of wrestling, and he helped me. So there's a lot of things. You got to know your strengths, know your weaknesses. So I know my weaknesses. I'm not good with I can have ideas to put stuff together. Sometimes that execution I can be lacking. He came up with the idea, hey, you should put together a package. Have a resume of yourself, kind of gimmick it up a bit. Let's have it was 3 8x10 promo shots. And then we took, this was before cell phone, email, videos and stuff. So, and he's like, get a good promo and put it on a DVD. And it was like a minute promo, kind of put a little edit to it, not too much. So I made a package. No matches. And I was telling him, I was like, man, no, we should have some matches. He's like, no, hold off on the matches. Then this package, let them ask you for the matches. They'll want that. And then they're asking you for something. Then you give that. Then you give that to them. I was like, golly, boy, okay. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm not really a computer guy. Can you help me? He's like, yeah, he's going to help me. All right. He put together the resume thing. And I had the pictures, boom. And I said, when we made this package, I sent it like everywhere. Sent it to the Mexico place, Japan, TNA, Ring of Honor, WWE. Sent it out. It wasn't long. A week or 2 weeks later, Tom Pritchard called me, talking to me about this and that. Telling me, the potential for bringing you in for a tryout down in FCW. Awesome. I was like, hey, so, but I need to see some work. I need to see your work. Can you send me some matches? I'm like, damn, Dustin Smart. It worked. Boom, put together a group of my matches, sent him the matches. Another week later, he calls me again. Hey, great, good stuff, like it. We're going to bring you down for a tryout in Tampa. And, boom, they get you the airplane ticket, rental car, hotel. It was a 5-day tryout. And the 5-day tryout, boom, in that big group. I mean, I don't know how many people. I was number 17 in line. There was at least probably 30, I don't know, maybe 50. Can't really remember, but there was a lot of people. I was in the same tryout with Sasha Banks, Dennis Harwood, Fulton, Sawyer Fulton was there, Sami Zayn. Man, there was quite a few of them. Elias, with that, had the gimmick playing the guitar. Walk with Elias, he was in on that. Sure, there's more. I know there's more. I just can't remember. But 5-day tryout, and it was pretty remedial work. They're not really going too far in it with advanced work. They want to see fundamentals, basics, right? And I'm mixed in there. I'm a 28-year-old construction worker at the time. And I'm mixed in there with mostly everybody who was younger than me. Early 20s, maybe some 19-year-olds, fresh out of college. They could barely wipe their ass, right? And, but if you go after college kids that have athletic backgrounds, wrestling tournament champions and football kids and stuff, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, I wasn't the biggest, I wasn't the strongest. But, man, I worked like a motherfucker. I knew what I was doing and everything, right? But you're talking about these remedial things. It's all in execution. All right, so a lot of guys, a lot of guys nowadays, I see them, and they've been working at it, and they got some opportunities, and I can tell they do not understand why they're not excelling to the next level. But mostly it goes back to their training. Their fundamentals are trash. Their lockups are no good. You know, here's the thing, man. Like, you can be great. They can really want you. You can look great and do the thing. You get the opportunity to get in front of somebody, and you get a match. What do we usually start with? A lockup. If you start with a lockup and your lockup sucks, they immediately lose interest. You can do the flip. You can do the jumps. You can do the running. If you start with a shitty lockup, and like I said, once you raise their eyebrows, you don't want them to lose interest, and that will do it big time. So we're doing the fundamentals and stuff, and really they're seeing a lot of blow-up drills. They're seeing who's going to lay down, who's going to when you want to quit, who's going to quit, right? And pretty good shape, pretty good cardio, so that wasn't a problem. But like I said, I mixed in there with a bunch of college athletes. I'm not the tallest, not the biggest, not the strongest, right? But I'm getting through pretty strong through this tryout. You know, and I think before the last day, I was fairly indifferent. Just being honest. You know, I mean, I think I had a good look. I had some good things about me, but I'm not the like the standout when they're looking at the college kid, 6'6", 260, with a championship ring from NCAA, right? Now, come to the last day, we did a little bit of work and this and that, and now they're starting to give us some things where they want to see more personality. And then it's also the day we're going to cut our promos. And this is the day I got my job. Before the promo, kind of doing things, wrestling the Invisible Man, show some personality, act like you're something. All right, I was standing out there. But when it came to promo time, man, brother, I nailed it. Sealed the deal for me to get my job. And that's anybody listening, if you're in the wrestling business, that's where it's important to be well-rounded. Have your look, your body, be able to work in the ring with anybody, be able to have a good match with anybody, and be able to talk good promo, and know how to structure all three of those things. It's important because, like I said, I was on the older side of the age gap, and everything else, but they still picked me. But it wasn't because I was lucky. It was because of the work I put into it.
What was your first initial thoughts of WWE developmental?
Initially, I thought it was great. Like, it was cool. I thought it was kind of weird. Some of the regulations they kind of put on you, like as a performer. So, so I'm a guy. I like training. I like the practice. I like the preparation. So, I love that part. Hey, every day we're going in to the gym. We're working out in the ring for hours and hours, and we're putting work. Like, I love that. That was great. Now, and this is through the initial process. The first time I had like a match, it might have been the first week we were there, and they had like a 2-ring battle royal thing, and me and some of the other guys were in it, and it was with we were in there with a bunch of other guys that had been there, So I do in his battle royal was Eric Rowan. I can't remember what I was doing to him, but same thing. It's kind of like they take that away from you. See what else you'll do.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think there's several reasons. They'll see what else you can do, but then I think they also want to see how you're going to react. You know, how attached are you to this thing?
Yeah.
If we take it away from you, are you going to freak out? Are you going to have a bad attitude? Or are you going to learn and adapt and continue on? But you know, it can be kind of weird when it's like everything that you do and use, you know, it's like, oh shit. So like my initial thinking, oh, this is cool. Love the training. I love doing the matches. It's good. I got to a point though where, man, I forgot how to have a good match. I remember thinking like at a certain point, I'm like, damn, it's a weird system. It can be, and they made up for everybody. Because some people they want it for you, and some people you're gonna have to get it. You got to make it happen, and not only that, but you're gonna have to swim against the current of the river.
Mm-hmm.
And at a certain point, I look at it. I thought of it like this: like, okay, you got a bunch of, and it's probably not so much this way now. It probably is to a certain extent, but when I was there, it's like you have a group of coaches, and they all are on their page, like not together, but individually. So they all have their own preferences, and they're all producing the different live shows. So different show. Okay, you got enough. Okay, Terry Taylor's a producer of this show, so I need to kind of work like this. Norman Smiley, producer of this show, I'm gonna work like this. Ricky Steamboat, I'm gonna work like this, you know, type thing.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all trained into different classes, so they kind of work different. But eventually, I got to where, looking back on it, it was like I was in the middle of the forest, and my compass was fogged up. I couldn't read my compass.
Mm-hmm.
My vision was blurred, and I forgot how to go the right way. Where, like I said, like I don't remember saying, like, I don't know how to have a good match anymore. I don't know. What the fuck am I doing? You know?
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of lost in the system and stuff. And then I kind of have some spurts where I come up with a cool idea or gimmick. We'd work it for a little while, and then you know, it's also a matter of you're going to throw a lot of things at the wall and try to find what sticks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I knew I was pretty diverse, so I came up with this idea in my head where every month, and sometimes it's every week, and at the very least, every month, I was going to give something different, like a totally different idea. I was going to go from one end of the spectrum to the other. So I was going to kind of do this wild kind of character, kind of crazy kind of dude. Next month, and I literally did this. And then next month, I'm going to be Mr. Rogers. And I jump on promo day with the sweater, tie, pants, shit that I'd never wear.
Mm-hmm.
I would do my best attempt to act like Mr. Rogers. Do that for about a month. And then I'd come back and that would be my Nazi gimmick. And I'd do that for a month. Then I'd come back and do this and then that. And which was good, okay. I'm showing them that I can be diverse. If you got a role that you want to be filled, but you don't have someone to fill it, I'll throw it at me. I'll do it. I should be able to pull it off. I can do anything. But now, looking back on it, all right, not a bad way to go about it, but I should have locked on to something. No, I should have kind of did the hot potato for a little while. And then I could have just locked on to something that I loved. That was me. And I could have bit down on it like a pit bull and not let go. It's kind of what I ended up doing. I kind of did that for too long to where I kind of really didn't have an identity for myself.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And and they really, the office or the people above the developmental looking down at us, they really didn't have a grasp of really what I was anymore. And if I could have gone back, at a certain point, I would just locked in and just done my shit at a certain point and stayed with that for a while until it either went up or down and then adjust. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. So do you feel like there was so much talent and not enough coaches to where it was easy to get lost in their shuffle? Like they would be hot on you one day and then they're moving on to the next guy or girl and
Okay, in a way it can be like that, but not really. Though it's kind of you have to know. I mean, like there's a lot of guys and girls there. There's a lot of talent, but there is enough coaches to go around. In a way, when I say yes, like say you've been there for so I spent almost 2 years there. You say you're like that. There's a revolving door, so you're going to see people come and go if you're not one of them. I saw people come in, man, you see them leave like, man, they might stay a couple of days. They might stay a month. They might stay a couple months. And then at the same time, you got people coming in, boom, bam, and then some people, the office kind of wants it for them. So then you're going to see them come in. Maybe you've been there for a year, and you're going to see someone come in brand new, and they're going to kind of get put ahead of you in the line, just that's how it's going to go. My advice is don't try to figure it out and don't get negative about something like this. Especially when you're in that system, it's really easy to become jealous or negative, and it's important to recognize that and change that. Just because someone jumps ahead of you in the line doesn't mean they're really ahead of you. They might be getting a look or something, but you're still there working. I also look at a little saying I had for myself then. It's like we're a set of different trains, and we all have our individual tracks. And you're going at your pace. Now you might see another train come on up a little faster and pass you, and you need to look at them and wave at them and say, "Good luck, brother. Do your best." As they pass you, never know what's going to happen down the line. They might get up the tracks. They might be successful. They're going to remember you and your attitude. And when you're in the workouts, you're like, hey, look, and you're going to help them. And you're going to work with them with positivity. You're going to, if they do make it to the main roster, they're going to think of you. They're going to say something. They're going to put a word in for you. They're going to help you with opportunity. Whether if you take the other case, that's not going to happen. But also, sometimes you'll see them go so far off the track. And sometimes you never know what the intentions are from the office. They might be giving somebody just enough rope to hang themselves. All right, we're going to give them this opportunity. When they mess it up, they're gone, or they're going to get sent back, or maybe they do want it for them, and they're going to get that opportunity. Maybe they make it up kind of high up on the ladder, and they get a little time, and the office going to recognize that they're not ready for this yet. Send them back down. Ain't gonna see him again. If you wave at it, hey, good luck up the road. I'm gonna help you out best I can. When they come back, they're gonna be willing to connect with you. They might, because you're gonna end up going to this. When I was there, we did the NXT shows at Full Sail. They're gonna be more inclined to, hey, Kevin Gunn, hey, this is so and so, producer on the main roster. Here's so and so, TV director or whatever. They're going to kind of introduce you and kind of help you network yourself in a better spot. And once you guys, it is very much a business, and just like a regular business. So, like it's all forming relationships. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I kind of I was a very black and white, but where it's just gonna be better if you look at it. Where we're establishing relationships, emotion and feel. We're people. We're not robots, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just like a good salesperson, is not selling you the product that he's trying to sell you. Yeah, like, ultimately, yeah, I want you to buy this product, but you're not going to buy this product because it's this product. A good salesperson is going to say this product because he's selling himself to you. He's going to establish a relationship to you to where you're going to want to buy this, no matter what it is. You know, it could be the product you want. It could be something else. Well, you're just going to buy what he's got because you've established this relationship with this guy. You know, very similar thing where, you know, you're establishing a relationship and it's a working relationship, but it's still a relationship nonetheless. I wish I kind of had that thought while I was there. But, you know, sometimes you learn. A lot of times people going through the WWE system, you know, getting released, not necessarily a bad thing. A lot of times when a guy gets released, if you get released on proper terms, you're eligible for rehire.
Mm-hmm.
We'll take a look at you again to where you get released that first time and you can sit out away from the system for a while, look back on it, think about it, understand how that system really works. And then when you come back your second time, that's when guys do a lot better. They get a lot further on their second round. And a lot of times just because they have a better understanding of how their structure, their system actually works.
Mm-hmm. Now, when you were doing these, like NXT and the full shell shows and like the house shows, was there a specific gimmick that they liked more than others you were doing, and like that was who you were gonna like permanently be, or was it just you were just trying different stuff?
Yeah, both. So for a long time, like I was just trying different stuff. For the first 6 months, maybe longer, I was basically doing what I was doing before I got signed. I was basically doing my Killer Nichols gimmick, and then after a certain amount of time, 6, 8 months, something like that, it's time to start changing things up, and I started, kind of doing a little bit different stuff, like on the shows. But then, so I don't know, some of the stuff I was doing was kind of not going anywhere, getting kind of stale. I had some ideas that I wanted to do to kind of, help me out. And Xavier Woods helped me out putting these things together. So Xavier Woods is really great. He helped a lot of guys, not just me. He helped a lot of guys. He saved a lot of guys' jobs.
Mm-hmm.
What they'd say, if you were on the chopping block, or if they were kind of losing interest in you, some guys you'd get a 30-day window. Hey man, we're gonna sit you down in the office, talk to you. Hey man, just so you're aware, like this is your 30-day window. We're not saying you're cut, but we're saying you got 30 days to tell us why we should keep you. And times a lot of those guys, like Xavier Woods, would kind of get with them and help them start working with some creative ideas. And he was pretty good with the camera and editing videos for them. So I was one of them. I don't think it wasn't during a 30-day window, but I could just tell I'm just kind of spinning in place.
Mm-hmm.
And talking with him, I had a couple ideas. He was like, "Hey, we can get it together on the time we have, and let's put together some videos. I'll edit it, put some music to it, make it all badass." And then when I came up with there was the Knucklehead, kind of like a Nazi kind of gimmick where I was like, I kind of took the two characters from a Glorious Bastards, the one with the Brad Pitt character, and I took the Nazi guy, kind of mixed them together, kind of did that. Made a really badass video. It was good. Got to do that for a little bit. And, then it kind of got to where it was like, this might be a little, too close to something we don't want to do. So then I had another one. So, and this might have been the best work I've done my whole career. Probably ultimately was kind of, and I'm kind of breaking my spirit at the end of it where I was ready to leave. But I put together a little history freehand. So about 2 years, for a 2 year period of time before I got signed, I was in a tag team with Matt Borne, and he was doing the Doink the Clown gimmick, and I was doing my Killer Nichols gimmick, and it was like a killer and the clown type thing, and we were two kind of crazy, creepy guys doing crazy shit and having a lot of fun with it. So I got signed after being a team with him. Then it was around 6 months after I got signed is when he died. And I just sat there like, man, we really connected. I started having this idea about like doing like a clown, kind of like paying homage to my partner, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't really kind of going for an actual like I didn't want to come off as being like, oh, he looks like Doink. And I think more so it ended up looking more like Captain Spaulding from House of a Thousand Corpses.
Mm-hmm.
A real creepy kind of thing. I thought, man, this is great. Like the combos was badass. And I got an opportunity to work several matches. I thought, man, this would be cool, man. They don't have anything like this at the time. And then there's like real history between me and the original clown of the company with Doink. There's pictures, videos of us working together, and like it's not like made up, fabricated tall tales. It's like real stuff. Like, man, like this is great. And made a badass video, and this is when Dusty Rhodes was still involved. And man, he loved it. He was all about it. And I started doing promos, and I only got ready to work a handful of matches. I did quite a few promos as his character, and real creepy, really, real intriguing, fun. And the cool thing about knowing how to work, how you do a clown gimmick, like I worked in the ring, but I didn't like wrestle. I worked as like a weird ex-convict, peeping Tom, weirdo. They work, and it was cool. It was fun. And then just out of nowhere, I started getting told like, "Hey, stop doing this. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what you're doing." But no one can really. When I would ask why and try to talk about it, no two people gave me the same response. They all. So I thought, look at the bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And then I kept doing it. So I was like, okay. I mean, until two people can tell me, so I'm going to keep doing it. One of two things. Until like two people can tell me the same response, or until Dusty Rhodes tells me to stop doing it, I'm going to keep doing it. Every day, every other day, or every week, or every time Full Sail, like there'd be something like, hey, we want you to kind of step back now. We want you to hey, we want you to quit doing it. The head coach Bill DeMont at the time. Hey, quit doing the clown. Okay. Hey, so why do I need to do that? What am I doing wrong? What's this? And then there's some political bullshit response. And I kept doing it. And finally, Dusty kind of pulled me aside and was talking to me about it. I'm like, like, so I quit doing it. Now, it was like, it was badass. Like, it had my soul into it, man.
Mm-hmm.
And it was done well. Like, Dusty Rhodes out. Like, and he took me around to, the different promo classes and different things, like, trying to show me off the thing I was doing. And, I ain't said it plenty of times. He's like, hey, this is made for TV already, baby. And made for TV right now, baby, So I'm like, okay, I'm on to something, And then I kind of got my ideas on why they wanted me to stop. And, which I think kind of sucked. But really, after that, I was like, mentally, I was checked out after that. It was kind of like, I don't play political games or, just not that kind of way. Got more of a, straight up person. I'm going to bluntly tell you what I need to say. And I also need to hear bluntly what I need to be told.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, like, I ain't picking up on him. I'm not following the clues. That ain't, like, that's not what I'm doing here. And so after that, like, I was checking out. I didn't even say it out loud. Even to my wife at the time, like, man, I mean, if I was in the office, I would fire me. I got no, I'm not going to quit. I don't quit. I mean, like, I'm too hard headed to quit. But I do know when I kind of run its course.
Mm-hmm.
And, I wasn't, just wasn't going to go anywhere after that. I kind of lost my spirit, and the love of doing it had been broken at that point.
Was there any coaches that you worked with more than others or preferred to work with?
Yeah. I mean, and I've worked with about all of them, but now I work with quite a bit with Billy Gunn. Learned a lot working with him. Billy Gunn's one of the guys that I learned a lot working with him after I got released. So, like I said, you kind of confused in the whole structure and scheme of things, right? Mm-hmm. Now, Billy Gunn got a really good mind for what he's talking about. At the time, just didn't understand what he was trying to tell me. Looking back on it, it's so simple. And that's one of the things about Billy Gunn is really great, especially like in a coaching aspect. I look at it like doing math equations. Same thing with wrestling. You can have all this complicated, complex stuff, all these things built up. It's all fractions. You just break those fractions down to the common denominator and simplify your fractions. That's a lot of things that Billy Gunn did. Everything was just simplified. Which, if you simplify what you're doing, the story's easier to follow. Mm-hmm. The crowd is going to follow easier. All your spots and all your things you do in the ring is easier to digest, understand. You come off better as a performer, by a character. A lot of stuff you said always, when you're kind of in a state of confusion and someone's telling you some of these, like, simple instructions or things you would say. I mean, I guess like looking back on it, I'm thinking of like trying to decipher the code, like, what does that mean? What that thing you said, what does that mean? Where it's like, it doesn't mean anything. Mm-hmm. Damn, he was the one guy that was like, he was the one guy talking my language, but I was so turned around in my head, I couldn't understand it. Mm-hmm. So I got out and I was like, and if it hit me, I was like, that's what he was trying to say. Damn, man, damn, Billy was good. He worked hard too. Like, not just like, I don't know. He put in the work. They all put in the work. But they all watch matches with the class and watch your matches back, critique them, and before I left, they started doing like extra workouts, which doing extra workouts is good, but it can be very difficult also when. So after going to the performance center, now we're in the performance center where they got the weights and your workout lifting weights in the same building, and they got the rings, and they got like 7 rings in the other half of the building. And then they got the room with the promos in the back, and they got your locker room upstairs with the bathroom with showers and stuff. Damn it, we're spending 12 hours, 14 hours a day up in this motherfucker, right? Which can be cool, but like when it's every day, and now we gotta, on some of those days we gotta leave straight after the workout through half the day, travel, go to a live show, which is great, but you gotta have good looking gear.
Mm-hmm.
When you got, I'm like, man, and I'm trying to get some shit made, got some stuff made. It's just a lot to kind of juggle, and it's like, I know I got to get some gear going, and I got to make it. Man, when am I gonna pick it up? When am I gonna get measured for this shit? When am I gonna eat something? But really, it's preparing you for the main roster because it's kind of good. Because once you get to the main roster, it's hectic. But you're used to that hectic pattern. I just specifically remember that with the gear and shit. Like, I gotta go over here, pick up this gear, and come back. Oh, now I got the workout coach looking at me all messed up because I'm late. But I had to get my new cool pants though, bro. And, first you gotta lift this. It's like, at a certain point though, spending 12, 14 hours in a building with white walls and no windows, looking at the same dickheads you've been looking at all week. And then, it can it can turn less into a workout facility and more into like, insane asylum. Don't be in the promo room with a straight jacket on because I'm going nuts here, guys. I need to get out, see the sunlight, fresh air.
Mm-hmm.
I'm strapped down. I got to get a tan, but I got to get out from under these fluorescent lights, man. Let me move, But yeah, sometimes it gets talked about. Not enough, though, but I signed an independent contractor's contract, But yet, I'm following every guideline as an employee, which I don't care, but it is what it is, At least pay me my money with the taxes already taken out. You could do that for me, at least give me the freedom to not have to keep every receipt from everything I spend and write down every mile I drive. You know what I'm saying? That's just some of the things. That's just part of the business stuff. Sometimes the business is kind of screwed up, especially when you look at business from like real world scenarios from other $1 billion companies. Kind of playing a goofy game of who's really getting bullshitted here,
Mm-hmm. So when your release came, was it something you expected or just something you were ready for, just like a break because of everything going on?
I was kind of expecting it. Like they did give me the 30-day window notice before that. Then halfway through that, like I got real sick, and I was gone for like a week or 2 weeks, like a spider bite or something. It really messed me up. And then I came back from that 2 weeks, and then I started doing a gimmick that Byron Saxton and Dusty Rhodes kind of helped me put together. They kind of had me this gimmick. And it was trying to go somewhere. It really wasn't me. kind of my last thing to do to see if I was good. Then another 2 weeks of doing that, and me and my buddy heard, hey, it's been 30 days. I think you're in. I think you're in the house. You're not out the window. Okay, maybe. I'm not feeling it because this gimmick ain't me. I'm not feeling the gimmick. I'm not really feeling that I'm really contributing to myself or anything in the right way. And then, about another week later, then I got called to the office in the morning, got released. And I'd say, like, for me at that time, it's like being in a relationship with a girl you love, but that girl don't love you, and she's quite abusive. You're ready to get away from her, but no, something about it. You like the way I have sex or something where it's like, man, I'm glad to have that weight off my shoulders, but I'm still sad. I'm going to miss something about it. So it's kind of like that bittersweet type thing. Like, I felt good. It was kind of heartbreaking too. And after that, I eventually learned that I love the business. I love wrestling. Yeah, I just don't care for corporate wrestling. I love wrestling. Yeah, I just don't care for the WWE system. Their way about it. I'm not a corporate kind of guy. I don't really fit in with that kind of shit. I'm behind the times for like technology and shit. It's real funny. So like iPhones had recently come out right before I got signed, and when I got signed and everything, I was the last one to get an iPhone. So like, the way they might communicate with you, they got everybody on the roster on this big email. Everything's done through email. And I'm like the only one not getting these emails. Because I got a Razor phone. I got a flip phone. And funny thing is, the front of it was all broken. It was being held together by two Band-Aids. I didn't even use tape. I used Band-Aids because that's all I had at the time, working my construction job in real world. So everybody's up to date, but me, I'm done. Like most of the time, I'm just getting lucky with whatever. Or a couple of times I didn't get lucky, and that's the reason like the hospital was wearing the same shirt everybody else is wearing, and they got the email that they're going to wear that shirt. But there was a funny occasion though. We're all in this meeting, maybe before show in Tampa. Jared Mercury's giving the meeting. He's doing the talking. And I can't remember what he's talking about. He's talking about something that everybody seemed to know but me. I'm kind of like, I said out loud, like, what? He's talking about? He's saying it's like we know this. I don't never heard this. And he's looking at me like I'm stupid. He's like, something about email. Now, at the time, because like you got a flip phone, now you can't check your email on the phone. So anytime I really had to check an email, I'd have to go to the library. I never gave a shit about email. If you wanted me to know something, you better not send an email. They ain't gonna know it. The only reason I had an email is so I could order T-shirts and shit off the internet. Because when you order something off the internet, you got to type in your email sometimes through the the order form. So like I'm like, we need an email. But the only time I use an email is when I order T-shirts and shit. And he said something. I'm like, you mean I gotta go to the library every day? It's fun like everybody. I'm like, you mean I gotta go to the library every day just to check up on these memos? And he's like, well, everybody checks their email every day without going to the library. I'm like, what? Like, how are they doing that? And he's like, yeah, I think everybody's got a smartphone. Does anybody here not have a smartphone? And I like, he's like, raise your hand if you don't have a smartphone. And I raised my hand. And he still didn't believe me. And he was like, okay, if you don't have a smartphone, and he's like saying it to me, but like, corporate, you can't just like single out one person. You got to say it as a group thing or something like that, right? Okay. Anybody raise their hand? pull your phone out your pocket and hold it up. And then, like, I pull out my razor phone. It's got 2 Band-Aids. Hold the front together. I'm like, look. And I'm like, something going on. Like, that I'm the only one. I'm like, expecting to see around like everybody else. And I look around like, oh, shit. It's just me. All right, fuck that then, man. Shit. After I kind of started figuring out, oh, there's some shit I'm missing here. You know, can't remember what I was pertaining to, but it's a funny story, though. I mean, man, if he was there, though, I don't know. I think I was the only one that really saw it. I couldn't have been the only one, but everybody's also really walking on eggshells, so no one really wanted to laugh too hard.
So how has life been after WWE?
Life's been a lot. Not to my, so let's see. Since then, I started my own wrestling company up at my house in Northwest Arkansas called Ozark Mountain Wrestling. Then I opened my gym, Ozark Mountain Wrestling Academy, in Rogers, Arkansas, Northwest Arkansas, 555 North 13th Street, unit number C. Come and see me, baby. No. But I got my gym and my show going, and we're working and stuff. Well, let's see. So we've been doing shows for 3 years now. We're on a little hiatus. So maybe February, start another job with a new schedule when it gets that lined out. Before not out there. But yeah, man, like it's one of those things that, like, you know, my mind, my body, my spirit is what it should be when I'm doing this kind of work. I don't have to be doing it like for a company or under contract. I don't even have to have a building. As long as I have a ring and I can set it up somewhere and get in it once in a while. Like, it's one of those things that, like, it's hard to explain. And sometimes it's kind of like, you know, when I say it to myself, it can, like, the words of it can sound silly when I say, like, I'm a 4-year-old that takes professional wrestling very fucking serious. Like, it's kind of like the words itself on paper are funny, but I am a 4-year-old that takes professional wrestling very serious because it is something serious to me. And I respect the business very highly because when I get out of it, I can't get it from anything else. Like, and I remember the times through my 7 years off when I didn't have it. Like, I kind of went through some phases of unhealthiness, physically, mentally, anger, some depression, you know, whatever. All these more anxiety. It's all about, you know, you can always work out with the weights. There's no replacing what the ring can do for you in all aspects of who you are. It makes me a better person. I can deal with myself in this world.
Absolutely. Well,
Wait, lose you doing?
no. So where can people reach out to you to come train with you at?
Oh, okay. Like how to get a hold of me?
Yeah.
Okay, how to get a hold of me? You can call me 901-484-8232. You can find me on Facebook at Ivan Warsaw. You can find me on Instagram at Ivan.Warsaw. What's another way? I mean, you can get us on Facebook at Ozark Mountain Wrestling or another page, Ozark Mountain Wrestling Academy. You can holler at that, you know. That's funny, you know. That's all I got. You can email me. It's not going to do you much good. I still don't give a shit about email. I ain't going to put that out there. I got the video on my phone right now, but like on my email, on the icon, I got the high score because it reset. I never just erased my emails. I almost got 40,000 at a certain point. And then it was like 39 something. And then something happened and it reset. But it didn't reset back to zero. It like reset back to like 9,000 and something. Now I'm up to like around 15,000 and something emails. I'm going back trying to beat that 40,000 emails. And so I'm sorry if you try to email me and your email is one of those, I ain't gonna see it. I got an email address now for more than just T-shirts on the internet. I got that email address now so I can get the high score on my phone. Maybe I should give out that email so I can help me get the high score coming up. That's all right.
Well, I just want to say thank you for what you've done for professional wrestling and what you continue to do, sir. I'm glad that we had time to talk a little bit about your career and what you're up to today. Thank you for coming on.
Hey, brother. Hey, I appreciate you for having me. It's very good. Thank you for your persistence, man, because I'm pretty hard-headed about like everything. So if I do anything, it's going to take a minute. And some people get offended by it. I'm glad you didn't get offended. You're the way you need to be, man. So thank you, brother.
Thank you. If there's ever anything that I can ever do, please feel free to reach out.